Welcome back. It's Michael Vaughn in Waterloo in the Technology Triangle, introducing you to some up-and-coming tech companies. We're going to talk about advanced manufacturing and the technology that makes it possible. Joining me now are Phil Nafekh, who is CFO of Virtek Vision Company. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Michael.
And Brian Tithecott is Director of Marketing for Focus Automation Systems.
Michael.
Well, let's start with the vision, Phil. How do you connect to the vision industry?
Virtek is a company that was started up out of the University of Waterloo, the pattern analysis machine intelligence.
I've heard that story before.
What we do is we drive a laser beam faster and more accurately than anybody else in the world.
What do you drive it at?
What that boils down to is we use a galvanometer, which is a tiny motor which moves a mirror to take one dot of light and project laser templates or capture digital image with the laser beam.
So?
That takes us into a number of markets. Aerospace, for example. Boeing is one of our bigger customers, and Boeing uses our laser projectors to project composite images to lay up composite parts. The housing for a 737 engine, for example, is built out of a composite material, and where to lay that up highly accurately is what we project down to let the people in the plant know where to place the composite part.
Oh, I see. So this makes the pattern.
It
it's
shows
like
them
buying an old dress pattern.
That's right.
But you're doing it with lasers.
These are eye-safe lasers. They're not anything that we're using to cut or weld with. We're using them to draw a picture and show anybody how to place a part accurately.
And when did these bright engineers come out of the University of Waterloo with this one?
It was started up back in 1986, and since then it went public in 1996. On the Canadian Exchange, and last year in June we went onto the Toronto Stock Exchange.
Very good. Brian, tell me how you come at this with Focus. You're the camera guys.
We're the camera guys, a little bit different than Virtek. We use CCD cameras to do inspection and high-resolution, high-speed camera-based technology, primarily to semiconductor, electronics, and in the printing industries.
So if we're in a factory, I mean, things are whipping by probably faster than I can see it, and certainly faster than I can size it up. You can do it with these digital cameras?
High-density interconnect is one of our key markets right now, looking at the miniaturization of electronics and taking the silicon wafer and applying it directly to the printed circuit board, as opposed to going through the intermediary step of having a big package. So we're driving...
With all that cabling running back to the...
Yeah, cabling and the big ceramic packages. We can do for the higher density inspection, higher density electronics and processing.
Give me a couple of for instances where this stuff's at work now.
Flexible circuits. On the back of your laptop, you've got that flexible connector that goes between the keyboard and the monitor. That's used for looking in industry at the hard drive head inside of your computer. And we do a lot of work with that. The current manufacturer now takes that part and processes it and makes it in the Midwestern United States, and then ships it to China to be inspected by people. So they've got literally thousands of people in China at a nickel an hour inspecting these parts, and then they ship them back to the U.S. And we've created a machine, the first roll-to-roll inspection machine, that's going to eliminate that process, helps them in their production, does a more objective and quantitative job of looking at the part at a high speed and high resolution. That's the first in the world.
Isn't that
here in Waterloo.
Yeah. You know, you think of advanced manufacturing as sort of a dark room where there are no human beings, and it's almost coming to that point, isn't it?
Yeah. It's lights-out technology is very much needed.
Lights-out technology.
Right. Well, you can turn off the factory, turn off the lights, and let the factory run.
You know, Phil, when I think of advanced manufacturing, you sort of think that other countries have got the jump on us. You know, if you travel around in Germany and, you know, you look at companies like Siemens who've been in this automation for so long, or the Swiss who've been doing it since they've been building cuckoo clocks, I suppose, you wonder how an upstart Canadian company can get into this sophisticated world.
We've actually been very successful in the markets that we've been going after. Our most recent application of using the laser beam is in the DNA microarrays. We've created a laser scanner
for genomics,
which for the Human Genome Project. That's right. That's the first step in mapping the human genome. And what they're doing now is they're finding genetic markers for diseases, and they can put these markers down onto a glass slide, and they'll wash an individual sample, for example, in a fluorescent dye, and they'll see whether it matches that marker. We create the laser scanner, which excites the fluorescent dye to tell you whether or not, and creates a digital image on your computer screen, tells you whether or not that person is positive for whatever that the marker is testing for.
Wow, and this is coming out of Virtek. That was nothing but a bright idea 14 years ago.
We're competing with a couple of American companies. Our most recent sale, we just closed a sale to Health Canada. where we were assessed against a number of other companies, and we won in terms of we were the fastest image process. We had the highest sensitivity, and we were giving them the best accuracy in terms of the image that they were looking for. All coming out of here, Waterloo.
Wow. You're public. How big are you now? What's your top line? How many employees?
We've got about 69 employees worldwide. We have an office in Belgium. We have an office in Boston. But almost 60 of those employees are here in Waterloo. We're roughly $15 million at the top line right now. We've been growing aggressively. This year we grew by 50%. And the last 2 years we've grown by 35% per year. So.
Now, Brian, you're still a private company, so I can't ask you those prying questions.
I can't give you all the details, but we're a venture-backed company of a similar size, just to put it that way. As far
when
as
did you get started?
12 years ago, as a spin-off out of another successful company in the KW area, ATS.
Oh, I've heard of them.
System.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We're Klaus Warner, who's the chairman of ATS, also sits on our board, and we have a close working relationship with them, and that's another help for us is having the other companies like Virtek, like ATS in the same community. We can work together very quickly.
Hey, this is a synergy we were talking about with the other guys.
Right, and ATS on that flexible circuit inspection machine, which I just talked about, we have the core technology to do the vision processing and do the inspection, but we needed someone to handle the material and do the mechanical aspect, which was also equally important. And being able to work with ATS, show our customer that we have a partners online to deliver the system, made it possible for us to do that project and start that project. So.
You know, when you think of manufacturing in Canada, I mean, Magna, for instance, Frank Stronach comes over, you know, and he recruits all these tool and die makers from the old country, and they come in and they bash the metal. I mean, it's a very sophisticated manufacturing process now, but that was the entry point to manufacturing. What's the entry point now? If I'm interested in the manufacturing industry, it's not as a tool and die maker, I wouldn't think.
No, it's having the core technology. I think Virtek's core technology, as iterated, was on the laser side. Ours is on the vision processing side. And then you use the community either locally or around the world to build the solution, to build the product that drives the solution for your customer. And you have to have that synergy. You can't do it all your own. You need the help from the channel and from the other technology partners.
Yeah, when we talk about manufacturing, when we talk about what Virtek does well, every business that we're in, we increase the throughput, we increase the yield so that
and reduce the rejects, I would think.
Reduce the rejects. One of our products is Laser QC. It's a scanner that scans every single part that somebody is producing that's flat to within plus or minus 2/1000ths of an inch and tells you whether you've met spec. It can compare it against a CAD file, which is another computer software file. And what it's doing is it's eliminating the existing lengthy quality control process where you have a guy in the QC room in the back measuring the thing with calipers. The laser scanner can measure some of these parts in less than 5 seconds.
Now, you guys, I mean, you got to tell me that you're great. I mean, that's why you're here. But I mean, give me a realistic assessment of how you measure up in the competition, because you know the technology is coming at us from all corners of the globe.
Right. You need to take a segment the market and take a niche, take a position in your technology where you can fit and design a solution, as Phil said, that fits into the yield management the customer provides a solution for them. And you can't do that across a very broad industry. You need to stay in your market and stick to your knitting. And so that's really the key. Also, you have to compete globally. You have to have a solution that you can sell around the world because you are taking very fine-tuned markets, taking very tight positions. You have to make sure that you have a competitive product around the world. And you're competing with companies in Germany and Japan and Korea daily. Those are our competition, not folks in Waterloo or even in Canada.
Oh, I'm sure of that. But if you take the wrong slice of the market, you could be finished in a hurry.
Yeah, it's a matter of staying focused on the market as opposed to the technology and not finding a real neat technology that you're trying to flog to a market. It's what does the market demand, and that's what we've really done is in terms of a core technology. It's what are we offering in terms of an economic business case to our end customers.
The people who started your companies, were they engineers or were they finance guys or marketing, or did they come out of the engineering school?
In our case, it was engineering folks that started our company. We spent about the first 6 or 8 years of our life developing our core technology and getting a solid foundation. And just in the past 24 months, 36 months, have we kind of moved into a more of a market position as opposed to an engineering-based company. And so we developed that core first.
Yeah.
You too, Phil, engineers?
Yeah, in our case
we used to call them plumbers, you know, now they rule the world.
Well, it was a customer who came to some engineers in Waterloo seeking a specific solution. It was Boeing, actually, who came to the Pattern Analysis and Machine Intelligence Lab and was looking for a solution to a problem, which gave birth to the company at the end of the day.
That's great. Great stories. Thanks very much from Brian Tithecott and Phil Nafekh. Giving birth to companies, you probably need some angel finance. We're going to introduce you to some of that after this break. Don't go away.